Welcome to Membersode 39. That's right, this is a special edition of the show this week as we are basically just putting out a Wednesday show before the weekly episode, which this week will appear on Friday because it's the live Twillies, of course, with the episode going live, probably very late Friday night or perhaps early Saturday or something. But what we've been doing throughout the most of this season is we've had a digital membership that we've had on offer, and as part of the digital membership, each week we've been doing a Q&A or an AMA where the members who are signed up can basically hit us with any questions they like. Doesn't have to be about football. Most often isn't, because footballing topics are generally covered on the main show, and so this week we just thought we'd do a free-for-all membersode, just to let everyone, just to give the non-members an idea of what goes on, and in light of that, we sort of opened it up for the questions for the members and not members and non-members, and we're just going to hit these questions as they came to us. But first, before we get into that, we really need to stress that this Friday night. Now, it's going to be 9:30 our time, or do you want to make it a little bit earlier our time to help out these fuckers from down south?
Let's help out these fuckers from down south. So,
right. So we can start doing this at what, 8:30?
8:30
on Friday. So that's 9:30 New South Wales Victoria time.
That's it.
8:30 Queensland time.
Whoever's in Perth, fucking Google it.
Do the fucking math. Honestly.
New Zealand. What's that?
New Zealand.
10:30.
Yep, do the math. So it's going to be 9:30 Australian daylight saving time, 8:30 Australian Eastern time, and standard time, and they're going to be streamed as always live on our YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/thisweekinleague. The live stream will basically go. It will kick off at 8:30 or at the allotted time, and so you may see a holding screen there if you're early. It'll start when it starts, and we'll be away. There'll be a live chat alongside the video for you to avail yourself on, and you can of course choose, if you wish, to join in on the live chat, follow the results live, and interact with us live, and we will be addressing the chat as we go through certain points of the telecast. Otherwise, you're certainly free to listen to it as per the normal podcast. It'll be packaged up and released as a normal episode, via all the podcasting channels as per normal. But you got the opportunity to join us live as well, and if you wish. Now, before the Twillies though, what are we recording now? It's about 9 o'clock. Okay, so we're about 48 hours away from the Twillies, which means you've probably got about 45 hours to get your votes in from the time we're recording this. Okay, so the votes are going to close at 5 p.m. Queensland time on the Friday. Okay, now to get your votes in, the best place to go is just go to any of our social media channels. We've put the link out there. Just scroll back a couple of days and you'll find the link there on SurveyMonkey. However, if you don't feel like doing that and you want to type it in right now as you're listening to my dulcet tones, then you can go to surveymonkey.com/r/Twillies 2020. TWILLYS 2020. surveymonkey.com/r/Twillies 2020. So if you go there, takes from what I've seen, I get a lot of metrics and stuff like that from the service. So it seems like it takes people about 6 minutes to go through and do all the voting on average. So get in there, put in a little bit of your time, have your say.
So basically what you're trying to say is get on and vote for the Twillies now, so you can listen to the Twillies on Friday night.
And know you've done your fucking bit.
Know you've done your bit. And make sure that the right people win. Because I'll tell you what, out of the nominations, there is the potential.
There's some wrong options in there.
There
were a couple of joke ones.
There's some Trump-level possibilities to come out of this.
Exactly. And don't be the one to say, well, I would have fucking voted. No, don't be a would have. Those woulda, coulda, shoulda.
That's it.
Get the votes in. It's free. Takes 5 minutes. And you go into the running to win a 2021 membership. So, honestly, there's literally no one that listens to this show that's got more the 5 minutes that are worth more than, than voting in Twillies. And look, and I mean, I understand. I mean, it's very fucking late in the year. Believe me, I get it. This has been a weird season. It carried on way longer than a month longer than usual. Then had another 3 weeks of Origin chucked on the back of that. I get it. It's almost Christmas time. Generally speaking, we've fucking forgotten about rugby league like 2 months ago. Almost the day 2 months ago. Generally speaking.
Yes.
So look, I get it, but the season doesn't end until the Twillies have been announced. So do your bit and get in there and vote before 5 p.m.
Stop Super Grover going back to back
on Friday. Yeah, exactly.
Because I've seen the tally so far.
Have you? I haven't even seen the tally so far. I try to keep them. I try to keep a surprise for myself as well. Like I won't even be collating the votes at the end. I'm going to have a non-biased third party collate the votes. So as we open the little, you know how it goes, we open the little folded over piece of paper with the result. It's a surprise to us as well as the listeners. So there's no fuckery involved. There's no fuckery afoot in the voting. The only possible fuckery afoot in the voting is if you don't have your say.
Fantastic.
Because it's always like a, you know, like it's nowhere near 100% of our listenership that vote. It's probably not even 50%, which means there's a lot of variability in the voting. You can one person. I mean, like for example, last year we had some categories that were like, you know, 0.77 to something 0.35, and that was the difference.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So your vote can make a difference. Make sure the person that you want to win the various categories actually wins, and the way you do that is by taking part and voting.
Although, don't worry about Nathan Cleary. He has half of the year and player of the year and hashtag of the year all sewn up.
It really wouldn't surprise me if he won half of the year because, you know, apart from you know, 3 noticeable fucking occasions in the 3 of the last 4 games of the year, he probably was.
He definitely was. That's what I'm saying. We don't need your votes on him because he's already got that shit wrapped up.
Or, you know, it's the big, you know, you got to pull out the scales of justice and say, are those 3 high profile capitulations, do they outweigh the, you know, it's 18 or
Oh, no, I'm not actually talking the merits
games
of it. I'm saying that I had a look and the lead he's got, it's impossible for him to lose.
Now you're making me want to actually really look at it and see.
No, relax.
Okay, so into the questions.
So the way these membersodes work is that Nate has seen these questions. I have not. And these are sent in. Some people want to remain anonymous. Other people are happy for their level of degeneracy to go out into the world. Yeah,
this one, of course, is I'm going to presume anonymity for the fucking for the embarrassing stories, because it's one thing to go out to the Digi members group versus the whole wide world of
people that may accidentally stumble across
the listenership of the #1 rugby league podcast in the world. Yeah, that's a different thing. So, and I mean, like this week we did put it out there on the Facebook group as well, just for the rank and file to get in and have their say as well. And Mark says, please spend an excessive amount of time bagging the fuck out of David Noffo.
Yes.
Look, I tell you, I tell you what he's referring to, of course, is the reports that came out earlier this week of David Nofaluma could leave the Tigers at the end of next season, and a likely suitor or a possible suitor is the Parramatta Eels. And this is based on the fact that he would like a pay rise, and on the open market after this season, he thinks that he's going to be, you know, worth a lot more than he's on right now, and his relationship with Brad Arthur and former teammate Mitchell Moses could see him joining the
end
Eels.
Up at Parramatta, especially with Parramatta basically now telling Blake Ferguson that his services will no longer be required. The timing lines up nicely.
Yep. The Tigers have offered a 3-year deal to Nofaluma. He hasn't signed it yet, so I guess he's going to chance his arm and see what he's worth at the end of next year.
Look, this could feasibly be nothing more than a media beat-up.
Yeah.
And it may surprise listeners to hear me talk so non-Tiger bashingly, but it could just be as simple as he hasn't signed his new deal yet.
Yeah.
And so now they have extrapolated out of that he's looking elsewhere and this and the other. It may be that he does.
He was courted by the Eels after Semi left as well. So there's historical interest from that side.
That's it.
In the past, which makes it easier to join the dots as well.
And it may just be that because he hasn't signed, the assumption is that he's going to test his value on the open market. Perhaps the Tigers have gone to him and said, "Hey, why don't you go and see what you can get, and then if we can match it, we will, and if not, we'll, bid you adieu or illegally offer you a post-footy career like Robbie Farah." Because when our CEO takes a holiday because of cunt actions, it seems to actually improve the club. But the couple of things that I always find strange in this is how footy players sign a year out. It just seems so counterproductive that it's still in the game.
Yeah.
And goes to show that you need to actually back up talk of loyalty and support. If it is a case of the Tigers just haven't offered him the right money and Parramatta have offered more, then as long as Parramatta haven't offered overs, which they could, they most definitely could have Ben Hunted the situation. If they've Ben Hunted him and gone, well, he's a winger and we need a winger, so let's give him all the monies, then that's completely on the Eels. But the Tigers, after a long time of, talking up Noffa and wondering why he's not playing rep footy, put your money where your mouth is.
Yeah, but was that the Tigers talking him up or Noffa talking him up?
Oh, Noffa talks himself up better than anybody else.
Yeah.
But the Tigers back that up as well.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, exactly. And look, I'm not going to bag. I mean, I'll bag Noffa for not even for talking himself up, but I mean for some of that delusional fucking talking himself up stuff.
Yeah.
Sure. But you know what? Him leaving the Tigers and making them look fucking stupid after they wouldn't trade him to the Storm.
Yeah.
Like, honestly, that's another hilarious entry in the history of the West Tigers being absolute contract cucks.
Yeah. And you're right. You had the opportunity to really trade up.
And also fulfill whatever the deep desires that Noffa has of playing in finals football and all that shit. Because that's the reason why he'd go to the Eels, because he feels like their window's still open and they haven't even built a fucking wall to put a window into the Tigers yet. So
yeah, exactly.
So look, on this occasion I'm not gonna bag Noffa a super great amount other than for talking himself up. But I mean, it's clear now that he's trying to get more money and success. So he's got to talk himself up to basically make himself to try and just put his name in the news, as a commodity.
Yes.
Chris says, say a once popular former podcast host was unfairly harassing you, and say this former podcast host is like Pete Best or Scott Rayner. The podcast becomes extremely popular after you leave. After saying all that, I have one question. How bad are Counting Crows?
To actually answer the question, they are fucking terrible. They are the worst kind of music there is, and people that like them should feel bad. And that's
I mean, and look, if you're the type of person that doesn't want to bathe, for example, I mean, great. There's a fucking soundtrack to your filth.
If you would prefer to forego any sort of sexual pleasure for the rest of your life and instead put paper cuts on your bell end and then dip it in lemon juice, then yeah, Counting Crows may be for you. You know, if you're the sort of person who would forgo the taste of delicious, slow-cooked red meat and instead can subsist only on the regurgitated bile of other human beings, yep, Counting Crow may be for you.
Yep.
But for everybody else, no, they don't enjoy that sort of experience. Or mate,
exactly.
Is there some sort of brotherhood there between Counting Crows fans and the people that like that fucking Linkin Park shit?
No, look, I don't. Unless they're like the base level of just like I listen to the radio type person. I don't think that.
Well, I just think that the commonality there is just like there's some sort of, look at me, I've got feelings, and I think there's some camaraderie between the sort of fuckheads that listen to that sort of stuff.
Look, I'm not ruling it out. I'm sure we'll hear about it. And look, at the end of the day, and look, you know, there's going to be some people listening to this to push back. And, you know, and before you push back, go listen to fucking Big Yellow Taxi. And any band that trots out like fucking AM radio covers of songs can get in the fucking sea.
Yeah. Exactly. That is correct.
And if you're going to push back secondly and like say, oh, but Mr. Jones is fucking blah, 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 blah. Yeah, I love listening to fucking 6-minute songs that repeat the same chord progression over and over with no fucking variety.
Well, you probably do because you like that fucking California punk shit.
Yeah, thing is, they have choruses and stuff and fucking and bridges and fucking changes
and also wallet
Mr.
chains.
Mr. Jones is literally the whole fucking time over and fucking over and over again, and it never fucking ends.
Fuck that shit. Yes, but also, you know, the ex-host that you refer to does have a PhD, a player-hater degree. They hate us because they ain't us. He's just shocked that you share opinions with other people. It's because what he thinks about almost every topic on the face of the planet is counter to what decent, rational human beings would think. Like when I say to decent, normal, rational human beings, is it okay to be a filthy state trader when it comes to state of origin time?
Is it okay to be born, raised, and schooled in New South Wales, then move up to fucking Queensland
and decide to go for
support Queensland origin? Spoiler, no, it's not all right.
Exactly.
It's fucking disgraceful.
Yeah. You know, is it okay to gaffer tape iPhones to the change rooms of junior rugby league carnivals? After you've discovered that your iPhone, your Apple Watch has a feature where you can set off the camera remotely. If you ask a normal human being if that's okay, the answer's no. You know, unless it's, you know, Cardinal Glenn Pell. Yeah. So just don't worry.
A phone call tomorrow.
You know, take solace in the fact that your opinions are shared by others.
No, but no, this is the thing. If Chris, if you want to go, so if you want to mend the damaged bridges between yourself and the former co-host of this show, then there's one thing to do. Write down your opinion, copy it, paste it over a picture of a fucking lion. I'll tell you, he'll be frothing. Gabe said, will there be post-grand final meet-up drug testing? Is a mouth swab accurate if the drugs are shelved? Asking for a mate, of course. Hashtags, bags out for Naden.
Poor old Naden.
In my entire life, and I am old, I have never seen the authorities ruthlessly hound somebody named Naden so badly. It's a disgrace. But before we started recording, we were talking about this very story. And there's just, I have so many questions. Like, when was the test conducted? Was it in the change room directly after grand final? I mean, they just say they said it was on that day. Was it before the game? Was it right after the game? Was it significantly after the game, like a time measured in hours after the game?
Yep.
When drinking and partying had begun. That's the first thing, because that then leaves a whole bunch of other questions. Like, was he literally like on the lines like on the sidelines, or like immediately after the full-time hooter, or before the game?
Yeah.
There's just so many questions. How long does it stay in your system? I don't know. Was he on the lines like 2 days before the game, 1 day before the game? These questions need to be answered for me to fully formulate my thoughts about the whole issue. Because, I mean, for example, if it was deduced that he had been on the lines like the afternoon before the game,
yeah,
like that creates one scenario. If it's like 3 hours after the game,
although that may be you and I looking at this sort of thing with an older person's eye, and also older people that don't bounce back from even just drinks out like we used to. You and I both know people who have been in situations with footy players the day before.
Yes.
Maybe there's not the stigma around it that we assume there is. Whereas you and I are both sitting here going, how fucked is that he's on the bags the day before or the day of a grand final?
Yeah.
It seems to me that the prevailing attitude out there is you can get on the bags the day before because it's out of your system and you don't get a hangover.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it may not be as shocking in.
And who cares if you've got a massive dump of serotonin on Mad Monday?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Because Mad Monday never comes if you just keep topping up. Yeah, it's very interesting. I mean, I like the stigma around it. This is something I've noticed over the last probably 5-6 years, is that the stigma around it in general has really like changed and dissipated a lot.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like just know it, like even in just like, like casual friend group circles where the last thing you would expect to hear is someone literally talking about bags.
Yep.
That has like ramped way up.
Yeah. And
over like the last 5 or 6 years.
It seems to me that now more people have access to it, and more people have access to bigger quantities of it.
It's also maybe that like that weed is so sort of pseudo accepted that it's no longer, you know what I mean? It's no longer like a drug per se.
Not even that. I see, and what I'd give you is from my experience, just being out.
Mm-hmm.
Again, like you were saying, just within a group of extended friends. That's all anyone's saying. So it's the cocaine that seems to have increased in popularity. People aren't saying, oh, hey, we're 4 drinks into this Saturday afternoon barbecue. Let's get on the bags. Or I can get some pingers, or I can get some weed, or I can get this or this. It's just I can get coke. There are no other options. So, yeah, I got no idea what it is. I'd like to see. I'd be interested to see some data on that. Don't they? Yeah. I think they measure it in sewage.
Oh, okay. That's
one of the ways that they tell about use.
So it passes through that I guess deteriorated, so it's actually a measurable thing.
They've just got. It's the same as doing a piss test for drugs. Yeah, they did a piss test for Naden, and when you're doing anything, you still need to go to the toilet.
Yeah. And
so it's just a concentration level. So they'd know that the concentration of this substance in this sewage plant is on average this many parts per million.
Yeah, right.
You know, on a Tuesday morning.
Yep.
And they'd see that spike.
I know some of our Popo listeners could probably give us some if not hard data, like, you know, some anecdotal, rough sort of figures, I'm sure.
I'd also be interested to see if they actually get that sort of info, or whether it's more just focused on criminality and supply. Like, are they actually looking at, well, what's happening out there in the greater population? Or is their focus on, technically, without being crass about it, what they're trying to prevent, and that's the supply.
Yeah, right.
You know, do they look at usage? Interesting. But yes. Poor Nades.
But bags out for Naden. Looks like Tyrone May's booted the slut.
Yes.
Out of the Panthers. And then on top of that, as we said, considering he was like the catalyst for the respectability coming back into the game in the final scoreline.
Yeah.
It's a shame. I mean, I think it's widely agreed that he shouldn't have been sat to start the game.
Yeah. And the interesting thing is that he's gone, and I know we're talking a bit more footy on this episode than we normally would, and this would normally be covered in the news section of the regular episode.
Yeah.
But, he also knew he was dusted, because he went to the club and said, I have some personal issues, I need to check into rehab. Mm-hmm. I've been using this, and this. So he was smart enough to get in front of it.
Yeah. And
hopefully if there is some sort of actual issue there, that he can get some help with it. So.
Yeah. Terry says, given that the Panthers' premiership window is now shut, should Gould come back now to implement his next 5 to 9 year plan?
Ooh. Hang on, why is the premiership window shut?
I think it's just been decided by Terry that the premiership window is shut. I'm sorry to have to fucking break it to you this way.
Look, in fucking Terryland, if it's shut, then in Terryland, Gus can come back. You keep running your fucking Terryland simulations, and you tell me how they work out. But in the
Terryland is devoting all of its fucking data processing to the Trent coaching the Dogs at the moment, I think.
In the real world, the premiership window is as open as your mother's fucking gob should have been, so you could have been swallowed.
Yes. That's what they're paying for.
Just a reminder, digital memberships are.
I'd buy that for $1. I'll make this one anonymous for the fella. Someone who's been writing into the to the members for the members episodes the last couple of weeks, fairly new on the scene. Wants to share another story, followed by a question. I've not read this yet either, so forgive me if I piece it together as I go. So a few years ago, I was just driving into town to play indoor soccer, and I had to pull into a servo to fill up my car. I used Bowser number 2. Just keep that in mind for a second. Then as I strolled in to pay for the fuel, I noticed a little old lady at the desk speaking to the attendant. I overheard her say, "Excuse me, where's the toilet?" To which the attendant replies, "It's just over there," pointing near the entrance. So I then proceed to pay for said fuel, and he must just instinctively say the number of the Bowser out loud to whoever walks in. So he asked number 2, and the toilet was no more than 4 meters from the entrance. And no word of a lie, gentlemen, this is a true story. Then the old lady thought he was talking to her, to which she replied, "No, as a matter of fact, you fucking pervert, I'm going to do a number 1. Insert painful, awkward silence. And holy fuck, I lost my shit. I can't comprehend how hard I laughed so much that I nearly pushed out another turtle's head. He said, "I didn't notice any fat slut smashing a kebab this time, so I'm pretty sure I was golden." I'm starting to think that this is almost a weekly thing, story time with this person. So after seeing that, my question to you both is this. Can you name a time when you were in the right place at the right time that made you lose your shit in laughter? Was it the right place at the wrong time? Or the right place at the right time? I know I've lost my shit with laughter many times.
Oh,
But
yeah.
the last time that I fucking really lost my shit, like to that point where you're laughing so hard that you can't stop laughing, and then you finally reach like a fucking truce in the laughter, and then you go to open your mouth again, and it just starts again.
Yep.
It was that time with the gender reveal, the skeleton thing. That's how long it's like. That is the hardest I've fucking laughed in, like, I tell you.
Yeah.
I can't, like, the fact it sticks in my mind
All,
as like a time where it's just like those times where you just can't stop laughing.
all I remember of that was you laughing, but still trying to get out. No, we can't say that. No, we can't say.
Yeah, it
Oh
was.
God.
Yeah.
The one that comes to mind instantly is it was a line. I wasn't. Oh, I might have still been in high school, not long out of it, and it was Philip, special
Yep.
guest star from the 2016 Grand Final Day meetup.
Yes.
Who I knew from school, and also very good friends with long-time listener Mr. Wars.
Lived a couple of doors down from the guy with the snake.
That's it.
For people who heard that story.
And we were near where we went to school. There was a Red Rooster, and we'd all caught up, and we decided to meet there because everyone knew where it was. We were hungry, so we've gone in and ordered some food, and we sat down, and the person serving us in Red Rooster was an extremely large person. So much so that I don't think Red Rooster actually had uniforms of the correct size. As in, I've never seen metal working so hard to do what it's designed to do. You know those disaster movies where like there's the suspension bridge and one by one the cables like and that noise that they make before they snap and just back to whether that was what the zipper on the front of their pants was doing. That noise was coming from it whenever they walked. Now that alone is not a reason enough for anybody to become butt of the jokes. But unfortunately, they also were lacking in personal hygiene. And so the smell that was coming was enough to overpower the Red Rooster that was being cooked from behind them. And
this is still not funny. This is disgusting.
Yeah, it is. But the food took such a long time to come out to us. It was so fucking long. And they put the food down in front of us. And as they put it down, the server said, "I'm really sorry about the wait." To which, quick as you like, Phillips turned around and said, "That's okay. I'm sure you can lose it with diet and exercise." And we've just walked. And it took me until I was at the door to understand what he had said.
And then it hit you like a wave.
And I broke down like I was singing the chorus in The Bodyguard.
Oh, that's fucking terrible, though. That's a terrible story.
It was so bad.
That person probably fucking took the toaster for a bath that night.
I'd like to think that maybe they better it was. They bettered themselves.
Maybe so. Here's a question for you from our man Cigar. Just wanted to get your thoughts on Justice League Dark Apocalypse. Is it the best DC animated movie?
Haven't seen it.
I got it off the 7 Seas, but I haven't watched it.
Yeah, no, I haven't seen it. So I will do that and report back.
All right, so that'll be one for a future week.
Yes.
Also, do you have any recommendations on some short, easy read comics? I mean, they're all fucking short, aren't they? I mean, that's the nature of the
What do you want?
fucking genre, right? It's a medium.
Garfield? You want your fucking attention span lacking cuck.
Look, a couple of weeks ago on these Membersodes, I talked about the Punisher Max one, and I'm pretty sure it only had like 23 or 25. Like, it wasn't very many issues, and it's like a great self-contained best of Punisher story, you know, up against Kingpin, and then Bullseye's in it, and Elektra's in it, and blah, you know, so that's fucking great. And it's not that long. I don't know, like short, easy read. It fucked me up because I don't really know. I mean, because they all are.
Yeah,
I would recommend any. I mean,
but that's like saying, okay, you know, what's a favorite fucking, you know, short, easy book to read? What do you like?
Yeah, well,
fiction, non-fiction? This.
Yeah, well, I guess what I would do is I would say, okay, then, so I'd rule out things that are great, but aren't necessarily short, and aren't as easy, and so you'd rule out your things like Preacher and fucking Watchmen and stuff like that, right?
See, Watchmen's all political and shit, so I'm not about that. But to me, Preacher's a fucking light-hearted read.
Yeah,
like, for fuck's sake, you know, the guy in it gets progressively more like he looks like a dick from all the scars. Like, really, what's not an easy read about that?
Yeah, so I'm trying to think of something that fits the criteria. I don't know, man.
Yeah.
But yeah, not Garfield.
That's it. Well, it's fucking short.
Far Side.
It's easy.
The Far Side. Far Side's only one panel, isn't it?
Dilbert. Yeah. Whatever happened to Dilbert?
I bet you that motherfucker's still in syndication on the fucking newspaper somewhere.
All I remember, years ago, I had this book written by that guy. It was hilarious, and it got to the end, and he basically started going on about how he believes in The Secret.
Oh,
like the final.
What was this book?
Final chapter. I forget. I forget what the actual. I think it was a Dilbert. No, I think it was a Dilbert book.
Right.
Right, and then there's this chapter at the end of, you know, actual words. I was like, oh, fucking cool. Let's see how he writes. But he was going on about how he believes in The Secret. So.
Well, I mean, I guess if he wished to have a, you know, internationally syndicated short comic strip that made him millions and millions of dollars, I guess it fucking worked, and it would turn him into a believer. Yeah. But yeah, those people are a type, though.
Yes, they are.
They're a definite type.
Yes,
certainly the type that wouldn't be asked to co-host this show. That's for sure. And they said, what are your thoughts on the NFL season so far? Which team or player has caught your eye? First thing, my thoughts on the NFL season so far: an absolute fucking cunt circus. And thank fuck the NRL, you know, by virtue of being in Australia, and with our countrymen not being so fucking tied up in their freedoms, or, you know, the ones that are like that are such a minority that they couldn't really fuck it up for the rest of us. I mean, they fucked up Victoria for a little while, don't get me wrong, but on the whole, and they certainly didn't fuck up our season for the NRL. Thank fuck. The NFL, it's the fucking opposite. Generally speaking, in Australian time, most of the games, we have the Thursday night football, which takes place, you know, Friday morning up to about lunchtime.
Yep.
Here. Then you've got the Sunday games, which is the vast majority of the games each week, and they start telecast anywhere from 3 a.m. and then there's like a 7 a.m. starting time, and then the late games are kind of, you know, like start at about 10:30, 10:20, something like that. Then you've got Monday Night Football, which aligns with about 10:30 Tuesday start. This week, because of how fucked they are with COVID over there, the Denver Broncos were playing their game, and their quarterback wanted to get some extras in with the rest of the quarterback group. So there's 4 guys in total. So they went somewhere, I believe it was within their bubble. They went only themselves, didn't wear masks, but said to be socially distanced from each other, but to do like a video session or something. As a result, they all ended up on the COVID do not play list. So the Denver Broncos go to their fucking game without a fucking quarterback.
Jesus.
So like they had a wide receiver that had to be the fucking quarterback, and they were playing one of the better teams in the league.
Yeah, okay.
So obviously they were fucking raped. Then, as I said, the last game's usually like Tuesday morning, about 10:30 our time. We've got a game starting at 6:40 tomorrow morning.
Yeah, there you go.
Thursday morning, because the fucking Baltimore Ravens have 10 fucking guys on their team that are on the COVID list this week.
Jesus.
And they're still playing the fucking game. I mean, NFL teams have decent rosters. You know,
is that they've
tested
positive to something, or they've broken some sort of protocol?
Some tested positive. Some haven't necessarily tested positive, but they're, by virtue of the position they play, they're in contact with the person, close enough contact with the person that they're considered to be a risk as well.
Gotcha. Okay.
Etc. Etc. Yeah. Then there's people that break protocol, like they go and see their fucking girlfriend, or they go out to dinner, or like shit, like Paul Vaughan and stuff. But here, if you do that, like Paul Vaughan, he gets fucking slapped hard for doing it.
Yeah.
There, if they do it, they pretty much fucking catch COVID, right?
Yeah, spot on.
It's so this season, and one of my interests in the NFL season is like fantasy. Absolutely fucking ridiculous when your team's locked in and ready to go, and then all of a sudden, oh no, this cunt's he's perfectly fine. But he's getting fucking kicked out for COVID shit this week. So you get it. I mean, it's an absolute fucking shambles. Like the NBA did a great job this year in keeping a lid on that shit. And I mean, they had some issues before the shutdown.
Yes.
But once they opened up and they had their little bubble situation going, I mean, it turned out great.
But it also seems to be that they were a literal bubble, as in they had complete control over who was inside,
player village,
where they went, how things entered, protocols around food and supplies and handling of all of that. Whereas
they would have had to work very, very, very hard to breach.
Whereas the NFL seems to be like the NRL was, in that it is a virtual bubble.
Yeah, it's like the teams are sort of consigned to their own sorts of bubbles, and then they travel from A to B for the home and away games.
Yeah, that's it,
and so on. And then there was a situation then you've got like lockdown situations as well. Like, I forget the name of the county. Being in California is probably like Santa something. But the county that encompasses San Francisco 49ers.
Yeah.
Like Santa Clara or whatever it is. The county that encompasses their training and literal home ground facilities.
Yep.
Has put like some sort of COVID lockdown to some degree, where organised sport can't happen and all this sort of thing. So they can't fucking train or host home games, and this lockdown is to go for a period of I think 3 or 4 weeks.
Yep.
And they've got 2 home games within that window.
Jesus.
So there is so much shit happening that is just like fucking crazy at the moment in the NFL. Look, the football's been great. I mean, some teams don't even get to fucking train. Like the Falcons didn't get to. I mean, believe me, Falcons need to fucking train. They didn't get to train, or what? They got to train once through the week because of COVID shit, and then they came out and played a team that was performed far better in the season and fucking raped them like 40 something to 6. So.
Jeez.
Crazy fucking results. Teams or players that caught my eye. I think the usual suspects are always, kind of up there. I mean, it's great to see the Patriots down this year. It's great to see the Bills up and, dominating, their division this year. I don't know. I mean, I'm really biased on this shit. I don't, fuck these fucking guys. Player that caught my eye. Same player that caught my eye last year. Derrick Henry, my fucking fantasy running back. What a beast that guy is. I fucking love him. He's single-handedly won me every game I fucking won this year. And I would absolutely boof him. I'd let him fucking run through me.
There you go.
Without question.
There you go.
But I hope that answers your question. Now, we've got an anonymous question here to finish it up. There's no This Week in Popo this week, which is usually a segment on the Membersodes.
So just to explain that, we seem to have had a large number of the members that work in law enforcement in some description, and they have been absolutely fucking golden this year in terms of things like giving us the lowdown on things involving NRL clubs, also, funnily enough, things that involve the tragic death of one Michael Hutchins.
there has been this ongoing. I mean, look, if you like true crime, let's say if you liked fucking Serial as a podcast,
if you like Serial,
if you were into that shit,
but you wanted to talk about something that actually matters, not the death of some fucking American teenager.
Yeah, but it's actually if you want to actually be like Serial,
but good,
except about about the death of the charismatic frontman of the one of the biggest bands in the world at the time. That's certainly one of the biggest in Australian history. If you want that, then yeah, you need our members series. Because let me tell you, there have been we've done a deep dive into the events,
and basically, have now become the preeminent subject matter experts. So when there is a retrial, we will be called on to give evidence, aka Oliver Stone in JFK.
Yeah, and I'm sure that our police friends, especially our main one, who remain anonymous, I'm certain that he's given me some great insight into the Jack DeBellin case, and if he wants to write an email and things that I'm cleared to say, then I would gladly go into it for the listeners, because it's all very interesting. But this one's from another anonymous person that's most definitely not the Popo. And I'm keeping it anonymous. He didn't request me to keep it anonymous, but he sent this in on the basis it was going to be like on the members podcast. And so I feel if we're broadcasting it out there to the masses, then I'll make the executive decision to keep it anonymous. But he said this was a story that was kind of in response to one from our gentleman with the service station story earlier. He had an embarrassing story a week or two ago on the members episodes. So this is kind of like a make him feel better story. This happened 15 to 16 years ago. I started drinking about 8 a.m. on the golf course. It was a tradition for me back in my early 20s to have a beer after I finished the 9th hole. That day, I just kept drinking. Fast forward to about 8 p.m. and I'm charging. My brother decides to drag me to a house party. It was the house of my now wife. At that stage of the relationship, I was just starting to get her attention. Being a large, hairy man with a massive head, I was trying to slow burn, trap her with the charm angle. Anyway, I finally get some time alone with her on the front stairs. The house was an old Queenslander with wooden stairs. She's chatting away and I feel it. This fart that needs to escape, and escape in a hurry. Being pissed, I thought I could squeeze it out without her noticing, and then it happened. The small fart turned into a massive rumble that shook the stairs. I felt the burning heat from the back of my sack to the top of my ass crack. She looked horrified and quickly excused herself. I got a lift home with a mate and proceeded to throw a perfectly good pair of jeans in the bin. Happy note, we've been married 10 years this year. I feel he buried the lead a bit. He shouldn't have said it was at the house of his now wife. He should have left that. He should have left that whole situation.
True.
Out.
That is true.
And then just hit us with the fact, also, we ended up getting married after all that anyway.
Kudos for you for saying I'm going to keep this anonymous, and then not redacting all of the things in there that would identify very easily exactly who he is to anyone with half a fucking brain.
Yeah. Look, I didn't say his name. I mean, it's like, yeah.
What I would suggest to you is that you have missed that you obviously awoke something in her that night, and she was just waiting. You've mentioned that you're batting significant overs, so she's been waiting since that day to relive that moment. It's 2020 and we don't kink shame. Next time you've got a weekend away, I'd suggest for a special event like her birthday or an anniversary, secretly pack the rubber sheets
or the glass tabletop
and offer up the old Cleveland steamer and choo bitch.
So that's it for the questions. That's it for the episode. One more reminder. These Membersode ones, they're very short on ceremony. We don't go through all the stuff about spreading the word about the Facebook and the group and the rest of that sort of stuff.
Like that
you
shit.
guys know where that's at by now.
We're going to post the
TWIL
Twilly stuff again on a bunch of social media stuff.
Yes.
Click it and vote.
Yep, click it and vote. They'll be streamed again, 8:30 p.m. Queensland, 9:30 p.m. New South Wales time. Streamed live on YouTube channel, youtube.com/This Week in League. Get on there if you have a YouTube account. Subscribe to the channel, and then you'll hit the notification bell or whatever the fuck the YouTube is say to do these days, and that will actually tell you when we go live as well. So you'll know if you forget.
Mm-hmm.
And as I said, come along, listen to the episode live. Get into the live chat and join in, or listen to it just as a podcast like you normally would after the fact. Choice is yours. Voting open till Friday afternoon. As Jay said, we'll put it up on the social media platforms just to make it even extra fucking easy for you guys. And have your say.
That's us.
The season does not end until the last Twilly has been given out.
Fuck yeah.
See you motherfuckers on Friday night.
Later.